Let's see if I can get... Nope. Nope. Okay, well, welcome to my Saturday afternoon in progress, everyone. I'm starting my maintenance on the Cub. I need to do my valve lash adjustment, replace my chain, do some other things. And the rear tire is really thin after my long highway trips. So that's going to be replaced today. I mean, that's the center groove is almost completely flush. There's one of the wear bars, and it's, you know, down. So anyway, rear tire is squared off pretty good. Needs to be replaced. So I pulled the rear wheel. It's a little more of a trick than I thought it was going to be. It's the first time I've ever pulled the wheel off of the back. The front is super easy. The back, you have to actually have a second pair of hands to steady the bike, because you have to lift the bike up to clear the rear fender with the wheel. It's too hard to get it out of there with one person, or figure out a different solution for pulling it off if I'm on the road. But this is a tubeless tire, so I shouldn't have to actually dismount the wheel to patch it while I'm on one of my trips. Haven't run into that yet, but I guess it could always happen, eh? So what I'm going to do today is pull this out, and we're going to figure out how hard it is to dismount the tire off of this guy. Probably need to go grab a few more tools, but I do have my tire levers here and my bead protector, so hopefully I won't mar up my pretty finish on this wheel. But first, I'm just going to let the air out and see if I can break the bead. Yep, seems like it's coming loose. And while I'm in here, I'm going to pull this standard little stubby rubber vertical valve stem, and I'm going to put it in a 90 degree. I always like those on my bikes because it makes, checking the tire pressure so much easier, because you're not trying to get in here next to the chain guard or next to the exhaust or whatever. Same goes for the front wheel, but when that's on there like that, you just come in from the side. So much better. And these are cheap, 15 bucks a pair. So anyway, I'm going to work on getting this bead broken down here and hope that I don't cause any damage to my rim. So slip that bead protector in there, and let's give her a good push. And I don't care if I mar up the sidewall of this thing, because I'm not keeping it. Get in underneath it and see if I can give her a tug. I haven't had the tires off of this thing before, so I don't know what kind of hassle I'm in for here. I'm trying to figure out if I can unseat that thing. I think what I'm going to do is drop this down to the pavement here and stand on it. See if my weight is enough to collapse that bead. Sorry for my torn up jeans here. Nope, not quite letting go. Nope. I'm not getting it out of there yet. Now, these sidewalls are tight. Really stiff for a bias ply tire. No, it's not doing it. You're right. Back to plan one. Interesting. Well, this might be an exercise in temporary futility. I will certainly get it off of there. I just don't know what kind of damage is going to happen to the tire getting it off, and that always concerns me with levering it back on. What's going to happen to the new one? We'll see. I'm mainly just thinking it through in my head here so I don't damage anything on the bike or on the parts. I've done this so many times I can't count, but the first time on any motorcycle or any type of rim is always a learning experience, because you're trying to figure out the best way to do it without breaking anything. If I can get in there, force this down, stay. Let's see if I can get... Nope. Nope. Okay, I finally got it broken down. The problem was I didn't have the bead totally unseated. I still don't have it 100% unseated on the other side. But this bead is super, super tight on these tires. Unbelievably tight to the rim. So even though I was squashing the sidewall, the bead was still very much tightened up and sealed against the inner edge of the rim. So stood on it, jumped on it, screamed at it, threatened to blow it up with C4. Finally got it undone fully around this side and most of the way on the other side, but it's still trying to hang on because this rim is so narrow that when you force one side off, the other side comes loose, and I did gouge my rim, damn it. So you can hear it. It's trying to pop back on. So when I get this side loose, the other side tries to pop back in. This thing is just so narrow. But when it's totally loose, I should be able to spin the tire slightly, and I know that it's let go. No, it's not. It's not letting go of both sides. Yeah, that's all right. Normally you can kind of shift the tire around on the rim a tiny bit, and you know that both of your beads are let loose. It's this one right here that's trying to seal up again. Okay, so anyway, now I'm going to try to lever this monkey off. Should have enough play in the circumference of the bead to start working this thing loose. We shall see. Yeah, now it's given. Get that in there and hold it. There we go. Ooh, this is tight. The problem is now I need my rim protector and I can't get it out of there. This one. Don't want to get too greedy and pull too big a bite. Normally, once you get it started, you can kind of start getting in there. I don't know how well you guys are seeing this, but man, there's one seriously thick bead area on this tire. I wonder if that Michelin's going to be the same way. Now let's see if I can keep it going. There we go. All right, so what I'm trying to not do is mar up my wheel too badly. Once you can get this first step done, it's usually pretty easy. Once you can get about a third of it out of there, it just starts slipping free. Getting this first part is always a pain. So for anybody that decides to home game this, you're going to need at least a couple of these rim strip protectors and at least 3 tire irons, maybe more, because man, the bead on these things is stiff. Narrow little tires. There we go. Trying to not eat the rim. Now it starts going much easier. Once you got about a third of it off, then there's enough slack that this bead can stretch back and forth, and your tension isn't so high that it's threatening to eat your rim at every opportunity. I'm losing a little bit of paint. Get a hold of it here. I'm trying to keep you guys on camera at the same time. It's normally a little easier to do this when you're not trying to keep the camera involved. Aw, see, now it fell out and I'm scratching my rim. No, I went right under it, didn't I? Yes, I sure did. There we go. Now I'm on it. Am I on it? Am I on it? Am I on it? Yeah, now I'm on it. There, now see, that's what I was trying to accomplish. So I've got a face to bear against instead of eating my black paint or my nice machined aluminum surface here. And you just get that set. and then start taking a couple bites out of that. And once you get it about a third of the way off, then you can just literally yank it apart. Am I still on the face of that? Yes, I am. So now we'll just bear down on it, and I don't know if you guys can see that tire slowly stretching off the rim. And I'm sure somebody out there saying, hey, shouldn't you be using soapy water or Windex? Yeah, you can. It does help. In fact, I'm probably going to go get that. Normally getting them off, you don't need it as much as getting on. Getting on, definitely soapy water, some kind of a slippery water-soluble solution is your best bet. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now before I go too much further. Hey, slip and slide, what do you know? If I had a little applicator, it'd be even easier, but stretch that off. I'm taking my time and going really slow with this thing, but I've gotten, you know, a third of the other bead off now. And usually from this point, you can muscle it and pop it off just like that. Okay, so now you'll notice the inside of my rim is still pretty clean. I've got some gouges and I'm missing some paint here and there from stabbing at it with these tire levers, but the ride-on tire sealant is not inside the rim like most tire sealers will do. It's all distributed inside the tire carcass and it stays there. Set this down. I don't know if you guys are able to see that in there, but that's the ride-on. See it? So now you can probably get a good shot of it in there. Let me see if I can get the camera to wake up. So that is the ride-on tire sealant. Now you can see the color, kind of brownish orange stuff. So it's still viscous. It's been in there for a year and a half. Yeah, year and a half, maybe almost 2 years now. Anyway, it hasn't ever leaked out of the tire anywhere. I always check for dirty spots, and it's all good. That's me from my hands. But yeah, so anyway, it's time to put the new tire on. Okay, so the next bit is the valve stem here. If you guys can see that. Normally, if you have a pair of valve stem pliers, you can just pop these things right out because it's just a belled out piece of rubber on the other side that's holding it in there. Well, I don't have valve stem pliers, and I have no intention of keeping this valve stem, so I'm gonna choppy. Clip the rubber in about 3 or 4 places, and usually you can chop on both sides and just cut it right the heck out of there without tearing up too much of your wheel. Crunch and crunch. Oh, almost. This one's reinforced. It's got stainless steel reinforcement in there. A little tougher than I'm used to. So now, from the other side, I will snippy-doo-dah it as well. Weaken it up a little bit and then pull it through from the back side. There it goes. Whoop, almost had it. Whoop, almost had it. Whoa, got her. So, that's that. Okay, now, my plan is to have this on the left side of the bike because the exhaust and everything is on the right side, and my brake disc on the front is also on the right side, so it's just easier to check from a side that's unobstructed. So I'm going to be putting both of these facing left. So let's do that this hot second. They come with a little O-ring shoulder. It's not really an O-ring, it's a gasket built into the top of them there. So, oh, what do you know? I got the right size. Let's see. Ooh, I'm not getting in there, am I? That's not it. Must be a 14. Could be a 15. Uh-oh. Yep, it's 14. I was right. Uh-oh.
Daddy, you know
Let's see if I can keep you on camera and do the job at the same time. I'm going to get that about as perpendicular as I can get it. Righty-tighty. So I'm gonna spray this up with some slippery goo and force it on the rim, and I won't make you all suffer through that. Okay, I just forgot. I will bring you along for some of the pain and suffering on this. Usually getting these tires back on, especially these narrow rims like this, it helps to use some zip ties. It's a trick I've used for years. I actually used to use some straps, some canvas straps many years ago for my off-road stuff. But what you want to do is you want to get the tire started, both beads, and you want to compress it together and get it sitting as deeply in the middle of the rim as possible, because that gives you more room to stretch it that way. So when you get it kind of sort of set, you cinch up the slack on it to hold it there, because if you don't, as you put pressure over here, it's going to slip and slide and just generally make your life difficult. So when I get that in there, I don't know if you guys are seeing how much I'm able to compress that in. Get it in there as tight as you can. If I had bigger zip ties, it would help, but use what you got. Okay, so now it's compressed in there pretty good. Get my tire lever out of there. So once you get that set, then you walk around and you just press it in. So what I'm doing is I'm pressing in both bead halves. You can see I got both beads pressing into the rim, and you just do them both at once. It's so much easier than trying to lever on one side then lever on the other like a dirt bike tire. So anyway, I'm just going to walk this around, and about every 6 inches or so, I'm going to compress this guy in and zip tie it. And I didn't mention that most street bike tires will have a dot on them somewhere, and that dot indicates the lightest spot of the tire, and you normally want to pair that up as close to your valve stem as possible. This tire is not so marked, at least as far as I can tell. I looked, I didn't see it. If I see it later, I'll be annoyed, but no. I looked at both sides, I didn't see a dot. Hey, wait, here's another one. This is the front tire. Nope, no dots. So they didn't spin balance those and look for a light side. So that just means when you put them on, it's hit or miss. You might get the heavy spot where you don't want it, but you balance it out with balancing weights and everything. Okay then, here's the fun part, trying to damage the rim. Get out. Don't eat my rim, just get out. Got greedy. There we go. Okay, so now that that's there, zip tie. And eventually, this is going to start going down, but right now it's quite a challenge to get both on at the same time, because these tires are quite stiff. The smaller the tire, usually the harder they are, or until you get into the big heavy touring bikes, the big cruiser tires, those have very stiff sidewalls and they're a monster. It's a slow process. Just trying to do it without damage to your tire, your wheel, and everything else. What you'll notice is as it goes along, a lot of these other straps will loosen up, so you can give yourself a little extra leeway by tightening those, and it keeps your working area looser on this side. Okay, I focused on the job and got angry with it. The deal was, again, just like taking it off, the bead hadn't totally collapsed, You can see how much further this is sunk in now, hopefully. I don't know if you guys are seeing anything. It's really sunken in much further, and I was able to cinch up my cable ties here to give me more room on this side, and now I'm just at the final bite on this side of the tire to get it on there. So wish me luck. This is always the hardest part. Gonna get that down in the channel, and it doesn't want to go in the channel. How do I get it to go in the channel? Oh, there was one side. Bruising my knees up real good. Almost got it. Oh, look, look, look. He's gonna get the last bit with his fists. Look at that, better than the tool. I'd rather lose a little bit of skin than lose all the paint on the rim, damn it. Okay, so that was that. You guys got to see the final bits of agony. And I'll cut my sacrificial cable ties off of there, zip ties. All right, cable ties to the rescue. So now, the exercise is just bouncing it around a little bit, see if I can get that bead to kind of center up. And then I will hit it with the air compressor hard and fast to try to pop that bead out. Usually it takes about 60 pounds or so to pop these beads, or set the beads, I should say. Not sealing yet. Usually you get 2 loud pops, at least one good loud one, as the bead sets in. I saw one just kind of go funk, but the other one didn't pop yet. And then I need to check it for leaks. Another thing I always do is spray a little bit of Windex around the inside edge of the tire on the bead on both sides. It helps it seal. Ah, there was the pop. Did you hear it? It helps it pop and seat outward. And see my big gouge that I did in my paint right there? Damn, that sucks. Boom, there was the second pop. So both beads are set. Need to check my pressure, make sure I'm not about to explode myself. I don't want to set it, or I don't want to inflate it over about 60 for setting the bead. Yeah, I'm at 50 right now. So that ought to work. Man, I'm really upset about that. I'm going to fix that. Want some touch-up paint. And now I'm going to have, before I put this back on the bike, I'm going to spin balance it tomorrow. It's just getting kind of late today. The other thing is my rear brake was kind of squeaking and groaning and dragging a little bit. And I see a lot of, brake dust in here. So what I'm going to do is spray that out with some brake cleaner and lightly sand it with like 200 grit sandpaper, just to rough it up a tiny bit, and then I'll clean the brake shoe faces and all that before I put it all back together. So anyway, that's that. So tomorrow will be balancing day and putting it back together. I'll go ahead and do the front tire while I'm at it tomorrow. Might as well have 2 of the same. Boing boing.